Namaste. We've come a long way in this series, starting with Atma. Then we talked about Jiva, the creature in us. And then we started breaking down one part at a time of the Jiva. And we did Chitta, we did Pran, we've done Ahankar. Now we want to do Manas.
Yes.
So please tell us about Manas.
So Manas is the interface for Atma between the internal world and the external world. Because Atma is not coming in direct contact with anything physical, whether inside or outside. And if a person, and we have made the distinction between Atma and Jiva, if a Jiva has to deal with the external world, how is he going to deal? There has to be a process for that. So we have our sense organs, the eyes, nose, ears, etc. They are in the body externally. They are the one which come in contact with sense objects outside. But they cannot know them. They are only instruments. So they give the data to the mind. And first of all these senses, they have to have a common boss so that they can be coordinated with each other. If you see something and you want to talk about it, so then there has to be a common meeting point where your sense of seeing and sense of speech, they meet together. Because if they are independent, then they cannot function. There's actually a nice story I read that once there was a butcher and he was chasing a cow, and the cow was running. So it ran towards the forest and butcher was chasing, but cow went further down and he lost sight. So when he came there, he saw that there was one, yogi sitting under a tree. So he asked the yogi that, did you see the cow going this way? Now yogi did not want to tell that cow went this way, because if he says, then he knows that he is going to kill the cow, but at the same time, he didn't want to tell a lie. So he gave a very interesting answer. He says that who sees cannot talk, that which talks does not see.
So the mind is where they all come together.
Right. So then the mind, so what mind does is that mind senses it. And basically what mind does is that whenever some sensation comes to it, then it goes into a binary function of liking or disliking.
But is the choice made by the buddhi, which will come to in the next episode, or the choice dislike by the mind itself?
No, mind itself. Mind does not know what it is.
Okay.
Suppose you eat some fruit, you don't know what it is. That is with the help of the buddhi.
Okay.
But even unknowingly, if you eat it, you can tell whether you like it or you don't like it.
So a kind of a raw evaluation,
right?
Not rational evaluation, not logically. There's no logical processing. It's just what it feels like right away.
Like a child.
Like a child.
So child, if you give, then child also can say.
Now can we say that this dislike of the mind is itself conditioned based on the chitta?
Right.
Because,
of course.
Because the chitta, I have been conditioned that I enjoy something, and I enjoy spicy food, and maybe an American who is not so conditioned will not like it.
Yes.
Same food.
Yeah.
Because the chitta is different.
Yeah, the like and dislikes, they're controlled. As we have spoken earlier, that chitta is the foundation of everything.
So this is not, this liking spicy food and somebody disliking it is not a rational analysis.
No.
Because that will come in the next episode when we talk about buddhi.
Yeah, and this like and dislike can also change. Today you like something, tomorrow you may not like that.
So it's sort of an immediate response to an experience.
Right.
You have some immediate preference or not preference. You find something is cold, not or too hot, those kind of things.
Yeah,
you're conditioned for that.
Yeah, because this is necessary for your subsistence.
Right.
So it is a nature's arrangement like that. Before you go into your rational thinking and making a decision, it may be too late.
Right.
So your mind immediately, and of course based on your past experience which are coming from the chitta, has like and dislike. So this raga and dvesha, that's what they call in Sanskrit, are the two basic characteristics of the mind.
Love, liking and disliking, rag, dvesh.
Right. So whenever it comes in contact with any senses, whether it's sense of seeing, you see something, you like it, you don't like it, you hear some sound, like, dislike, smell, taste and touch. These are the basic sensations which are coming to the mind, and mind will immediately give its, decision of I like it, I don't like it, I like it, I don't like it. So that's what mind does. But then beyond that, of course, is the buddhi, which has to make a decision whether you want to act on it or you don't want to act it. That is a separate thing. So
buddhi is a more higher level logical analysis.
Right.
And mind is not based on any complicated analysis, but preferences that are sort of pre-programmed.
Yeah, and this duality occurs in the mind.
Right.
So really speaking, any object, you cannot say that it is likable or not likable in absolute sense.
It depends on how your mind is conditioned.
How your mind is conditioned and how your mind also can change with the time.
Right.
Suppose you have your favorite food. You may like some particular type of.
And it may change in the
But
future.
if I give it to you every day,
right.
then you'll get fried. He says, what is this? Every day you'll shout at your wife, what is this? Every day you're making the same food. So although it is your favorite, and she may argue with you, he says, but Rajiv, this is your favorite dish. I'm making it. And you'll say, what? Favorite dish does not mean that I'm going to eat it 3 times a day every day. So mind has its likes and dislikes, but these likes and dislikes are not absolute. That if you like something does not mean that you will always like it. There are many things which we liked in our childhood, we don't like them now. And what we like them now, we may not like when we get older.
Now, does the mind, in order to cognize an object, does the mind go out through the indriyas to define the object? In other words, even before this I like or dislike, even to recognize a shape that's a triangle, this is a bus, because I have a way of interpreting.
So that interpretation happens with the help of buddhi. So I use 2 words, then there is a perception and there is a conception. So perception is done through the mind, and conception, what it is, whether it is rectangular or circular or anything, this happens with the help of buddhi. Without the help of buddhi, it is not possible. Therefore, those people who become insane or who are under heavy influence of drug, what happens for them is that their buddhi is not working properly. Therefore, they are not able to make proper decisions, and they may not even have proper cognition of things. So they can lie down in some muddy place, right, or in some filthy place, because they are unable to make decision. So the mind is there, and mind is of course now so much in tamas that it cannot, something which is not likable may become likable to it. That's what we said, that this like and dislike is not absolute. It can change. If your mind is in sattva, and mind changes. So when your mind is in sattva, then you may like something. When your mind is in rajas, then you may not like that, and you may like something else. When your mind is in tamas, then your like and dislike also changes accordingly. But this decision making, whatever the object is, whether it is rectangular or circular, this happens with the help of buddhi only. Not the mind's raw reaction is like and dislike. And then mind does other things that it does with the help of buddhi and ahankara. They are all working in tandem. But the first interface of the senses which happens with the mind, that
so some people who are studying perception, the scientists today, are saying that even what I wish to notice when I'm looking, my eye itself, the indriya itself, is choosing I'm going to notice this and not notice that because I have a certain preference.
Yes.
And somebody else may notice something different. In fact, they're even saying that Asians are cognizing a scene, very complex scene, and they're looking, if you do a test on what was in it, did you see this, then the type of things they will notice will be different than somebody from Europe. So there's also a conditioning where, what I find worth noticing is also conditioned in me.
Yeah, but that they don't understand that this is happening with the help of chitta and buddhi. Because they have no way to stop buddhi and chitta functioning and just keep the senses and then do the experiment. Although I do agree that senses also have their preferences. And this Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Indriyasya indriyasya arthe raga dvesha vyavasthitav. That it is not only that raga and dvesha are in the mind, but they actually percolate to the level of senses.
Yeah,
also.
that is the point I'm making.
So that I agree to that. But I don't agree that they are doing experiment and they are coming up with this conclusion. Their experiment does involve buddhi in it and does involve chitta, which has all the conditioning in it. But what I have read, and this will be interesting to do experiment if somebody wants to do an experiment. I read a story that there was a person, he was a nice person and in a high post, and he met an accident and his hand was cut off in the accident. But then they transplanted another hand from another person who had also just died. So now what I read, I'm not sure whether this story is wrong or right, but it makes sense to me that afterwards, whenever this person went somewhere, he got into the habit of picking up things and putting in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very disturbed by that because he didn't want to do that, but the hand will do that. So when he was talking with one psychologist, and he said, well, you should try to find out whose hand was it which was put onto your arm. And then they figured out that this guy was a thief.
So, but there is something called biomemory.
Right.
That there is cell memory, biomemory. So, for example, a tennis player is quick to reflect in a certain way because his muscles already are conditioned. The muscles it is not the intellect telling him move this way, that way. It is his biomemory. So biomemory has become programmed and it is changeable. So there is a certain the chitta is also decentralized into different parts of the body.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that the conditioning which is from the chitta and then to the mind, it can come up to the level of the senses also. Because ultimately this biomemory is coming from the chitta.
Yeah.
Because this person has practiced for hours and hours.
But
and
we
hours.
could also say that chitta is located everywhere in the body. The chitta is decentralized.
Yes.
And the manas is also decentralized.
Yeah, manas you see, when we say that manas is around the heart region and all that, it is for explaining it, but manas is not limited to that area. So what they call as biomemory and what we are calling as the memory coming into the cells, ultimately it is related to the chitta.
So we are saying that the senses come together with the manas. Manas also drives the karma indriyas, the action.
Right.
Different. Both the input indriyas and the output indriyas come together to the manas. And the manas has very rudimentary like-dislike, raga-dvesh characteristics. The higher level, which is buddhi, is going to do a more rational, detailed analysis and figure out what the proper response should be. But a preliminary response is happening at the manas level.
Right.
And this manas may be also decentralized in where it's present. It may also permeate into the indriyas, and the indriyas may in fact prefer to notice something and not notice something else.
Yes.
So that could also happen.
Yeah, that I said already, that our senses also are programmed.
Yes.
They also conditioned.
Yes.
They also have their own raga and dvesha.
Yeah.
It's like you touch something which is very hot.
Right.
So you have the instinct of immediately moving your hand away from that.
Right.
It's not that
we haven't had time to process it, it
yeah.
just happens.
Yeah. So it
Yeah.
comes to that level, and that is necessary for your
Yeah.
survival.
Right. Right. So manas, if we loosely call it mind, we must make sure it's not the Western theory of mind.
Right.
We're just calling it, but it is not because the theory of mind in the West is very different and it's not even very clear. It's not well established and they keep changing their mind quite often on this.
Yeah, and usually they think that brain is the mind. So
Well,
for us,
brain is hardware, but
Yeah.
the mind, they do say, is kind of the software running it. But what it is.
So sometimes they say thought is mind.
And it's not connected, that idea of mind is not connected. Like in our case, there's a whole theory. The manas is connected with ahankar, it is connected with chitta.
Right.
It is these are connected with chetana. So all of the whole system, the whole cognitive system of the jiva hangs together.
Right.
And we cannot just replace any part of it with some Western substitute, because then the rest of it won't work.
Yeah, and you cannot study it scientifically because they are interrelated. So how will you study just one independent of the others? That's not possible.
Yeah.
So, and manas is very important because ultimately all our interactions in the world, they are happening through the mind. So that's why it is said that mind is actually the cause of bondage as well as liberation. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo.
So manas can, but if manas is only doing preferences, then how is it the cause?
Because raga and dvesha,
Right.
and then it will influence your decision making. If your buddhi is not pure, then what mind does is that it overpowers the buddhi to do an action for its raga or dvesha. And then raga and dvesha are going to lead you to karma, good or bad.
So the desire of like-dislike is at the manas level.
Right.
The rationality of calculating what are the consequences. I do this thing, it feels good, but I'm stealing, it's not good for,
That is at the level
that
of
is at the
buddhi.
manas level.
Buddhi level.
But so that is at the buddhi level.
Yeah.
So the manas taking control over the buddhi is a problem.
Yes.
That is the common problem.
Very common problem.
That the manas has become too powerful.
Yes.
It should give in to the buddhi. The buddhi will direct karma more responsibly.
Yes. So because all the thoughts, all the desires, all the emotions, besides this perception of the senses, they all happen in the mind.
Manas.
Yes.
In the manas.
So it is all happening in the manas only. So your desires, they arise in the manas. And of course, they are influenced by your chitta. Your emotions, they are manifesting in your manas. And your thought process is happening there. And then all your decision making, it becomes influenced by that. So depending on how strong is your ahankara, how strong is your buddhi, then they get influenced by all these things which are happening in the manas. So that's why manas plays a very key role in our life, spiritual life, material life, both. So it is very important for every human being to understand the manas, and this is what Bhagavad Gita is about. Krishna actually tries to speak a lot about it, directly and indirectly, when he is teaching to Arjuna that how the mind functions and how mind can put you into trouble. Because some emotion comes in your mind, you get angry. So sangat sanjayate kama, kamat krodha vijayate. So where does krodha happen? It happens in the mind. And krodhat bhavati sammoha, when your anger is coming in your manas, then you have bewilderment. Means your perception changes. You perceive things differently. The same person whom you love, now that person's face looks very horrible to you, right? When you're in an angry mood. So then you lose your smriti. So smriti bhanshat buddhina. So then you lose your intelligence. Your buddhi is lost. And then you make wrong decision. Then you do something for which you repent later on.
So manas is important to understand, important to control.
Yeah, it's very, very important. So all the practices are actually to control the mind, in this manas. Whether it is you go to dhyan, dharana, samadhi of yogic practice, or you come to bhakti yoga doing japa, puja, or you come to jnana yoga. It's all how you have to, get your handle on the manas. Because once you control that, then this mind can be very, very useful.
Of course.
So Atma ev hi ripur Atmana. He says Atma is the enemy and Atma is also bandhu. It can be your good friend and it can be your worst enemy.
Atma or mind? Manas?
Atma, the word it's very interesting that the word Atma can also be translated as manas.
Okay.
The word Atma has many meanings.
Okay.
Atma sometimes is used for body.
Right.
So manas can be your good friend if it is under your control, and manas can be your worst enemy if it is out of control. So for most people it is out of control, and therefore it keeps creating trouble for them. Even if you fulfill all their desires, you give them all the money the person needs, then mind, if it is out of control, then it will give you some desire, now go and do this.
Right.
Then you will do what they call as white collar crime. They don't need to do any crime, but they do it just for the sake of fun. The manas is telling you to do
Yeah.
that.
Conditioning.
So, yeah.
It's conditioned.
Yeah.
Good.
So mind becomes a problem if it is not under control. So that's why it is very important, this spiritual practice. And Krishna says that if you are not peaceful in your mind, you cannot be happy.
Right.
So how can you be happy if your mind is in anxiety, if it is troubled, it is racing? So ashantasya kutah sukham. So that's why it is, even for my own happiness, which everybody wants to be, you have to keep your mind peaceful. And that is only possible if you can control it.